Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Guess I'll stop knitting. Hey guys, and welcome back to my podcast. I feel like I always do that. I always go, "Hey, welcome guys," and then so I don't remember if I mentioned it in my last video, but fairly recently I feel like I was in a knitting slump, and I feel like it was because I was stuck on a few things and I just didn't have like that easy kind of mindless project or just something I was so excited about I could get past any problems. But I think what got me past that was knitting the mini mock neck tank, which I finished, and I will show it off shortly. But I made that and just kind of started going back to sit and stitch in my local yarn shop more consistently. Because there were a few months there where I was just sick. I didn't feel good. So I started going back to that again. That's been really awesome. I love seeing what people are knitting and just gossiping around the table, whatever. I also met with my new friend, Savannah, who I've mentioned probably almost every episode because I make so much stuff out of her yarn. So actually that goes into my first 2 whips. I'm showing 4 whips today. 2 of them are not new whips, but I'm showing them off anyways because I can. But this is my mini mock neck tank, and it's so pretty. I ended up having to sew in some elastic into the underarm part because this front part, like when I'd put it on, boobs right there, and then it'd like flare out like that. So did that, and it's a lot better now. And this is it's using her Shelly sock base in Giallo. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but it's from her Suspiria collection from the 70s horror film. And I was just, as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh god, I might have to buy that. So I did, and actually I have pretty much a whole skein left over. So I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of this. Look how pretty it is. Ooh. My camera's not focusing. There we go. Oh my gosh. It's so pretty. I mean, Jessie made patterns. They are some of my favorites. So I highly recommend if you want something that is easy to understand. There's some challenge to it. I always learn a lot about shaping when I do her patterns. And that's something that I always appreciate. There's so many options for modification and sizing and everything. Very inclusive. So that's my first finished object. My most recent one that I cast off, I think this weekend, is my Muscle Bro, which you might have seen this yarn before. You might have also seen this yarn before. It's because this one's been 1 hat before, and this one's been 2 hats already. And I think this is its final form at long last. And I am so happy with how it turned out, and it was so much fun to knit. I mean, I know a lot of people be like, I don't like stockinette because it's just doing the same thing around and around and around, but I can seriously do stockinette for hours and hours, and so I finished this pretty quickly. Well, relatively quickly. This is my cast on side, and it turned out well, but when I was doing it, I just was like not feeling it in terms of just, I don't love doing like increase and decrease sections. Like, it's not hard, it just doesn't keep my attention the same way that stockinette does. So yeah, I tried it on and I wore it to work yesterday. And it was so comfortable. This is made with worsted weight, so it's really nice and thick and squishy. And I'll probably make another one out of fingering because I have a lot of fingering, which, just as an example, just pulling out of my stash, my overflowing stash right here. Really been wanting to find something to make out of this yarn. This is Imladris Ultimate Sock in Eripi. Please correct me if I mispronounce that. I'm doing my best here. But Imladris sock is really soft and springy, and I feel like that would make a fun hat. And I have another skein of that yarn, but in a different color, which would be perfect. But anyways, let's move on to my next FO, which you've seen before. I've had it on here before, but I'm officially 100% done with it. This is my candy sweater again. I think I already shared that oh, there's an end poking out. Let's just tuck that back in. I already shared how I modified the cuffs of the sleeves. And it's my first time doing Italian bind off, which I was super happy with. The sleeves, on this, I always get compliments on the raglan. Ignore my hole right there. This is super pretty. And then the cuffs, which I'm also really proud of. And this was my own doing, so I'm extra proud of it. I just was like, alright, let's just, how do I do balloon sleeves? So I did that, and it turned out great. And then, I mean, the bottom hem probably looks about the same, but I frogged the hem, the ribbing, and I did it over again two needle sizes down. And I think it just looks a lot better because the original pattern doesn't have you changing needle sizes. So I think, and I know I mentioned this, but in the future I'm definitely going to be paying more attention to, you know, how I do my hems and all that kind of stuff. Even if a pattern says to not change needle size, I'm going to do it anyways, unless there's a really good reason. So yeah, that's that, and I wear it sometimes. I gotta rotate between my sweaters. I have so many sweaters, but only one of them's handmade, so I'm trying to wear that one more. It just doesn't go with everything that I have. Oh, yes. I brought Hank with me. He was on my work desk for a while, but I decided to take him home because I need to fix something. Like, I found this, I don't know if you can see it, there's this like dropped stitch, like right there, which I'm trying not to panic. I think I can fix it, but I'd like to fix him before I give him to the local fair people, because I submitted him to be in the fair in the textiles category, even though he's a chicken. He's beautiful. His name's Hank, if you're new. So yeah, it's possible you've seen him on Ravelry, because for some reason Hank has gotten like 30 likes, which is miles more than any pattern that I've added to my Ravelry, so I kind of wonder if he's gotten featured or anything like that. But anyways, maybe he'll have a ribbon, maybe not, I don't care. I just wanted to submit him. There's Hank. I'll just put him next to me. How's that sound? So that's it for my FOs. Let's see. The first whip I want to pull out, and I just wanted to make sure with the designer that I was okay to share this, but she is, dropped my yarn, squishing Hank, it's all going poorly. This is a cowl that I'm making. It's a little bit hard to see because it's still on the needles, but you can see those details. I can't remember what that stitch pattern is called. It's like an elongated, come on now, elongated stitch. But basically this is color pooling, so every time I come to, oh my god, I keep dropping my yarn. Every time I come to these rainbow bits, I'll do one of those stitches. And yeah, the shape is really cool. It's going to turn out to be, it's splitting in the back. So it'll, if I remember correctly, it splits in the back and it can kind of sit like a bandana. And already it's super cute and I cannot wait to share this because this is actually a test. It's a test and a sample knit. So it's a test knit because I'm testing the pattern. And then it's a sample knit because the designer, who, by the way, Taylor Rutledge, aka Needle Fox Arts on Ravelry and Instagram and all those things, she is going to be taking these to potentially show off at some local fairs and things like that for a few months. And so I'm really excited for that. And so far this has just been super fun to knit and I love the yarn choice. Several of us got different colors and different stitch patterns to use, and so I got orange and this elongated stitch pattern. So that's that. The next one I'll show off. I am finally making the shrimp socks and I am almost done with one. Here are the shrimps. The lighting doesn't really do this orange justice. It's kind of coming off. Come on. Oh my god, come on. Yeah, it's kind of coming off a little bit washed or dark. You can see it better over here, the color. But, yeah, it's been super fun and I actually really like the helical stripes that are going on. They're super, super easy to do and they look really nice. And you'll notice that I have some scrap yarn here because instead of doing the heel and gusset that I feel like I've normally done for socks, because that's the only way I've done socks, I decided that I don't like doing a heel and gusset, and it's kind of what keeps me from making socks because it's not hard, it's just a lot of steps that I don't like to take. So the more I can just barrel on forward with my knitting, the better, unless it's absolutely necessary. So I'm doing I think it's called a forethought heel, so it's not quite an afterthought heel because I've chosen my placement as I went, as I was knitting. So I knitted in this scrap yarn, knitted in the scrap yarn, and I'm gonna do like a just a, like, what is it, a peasant heel or just a short row heel. So I don't know, one of those easy heel where I just do decreases. So then I'm getting pretty close to the toe here and I'm really excited because then I will be able to do the heel and finally be able to do a different heel than what I've been doing this whole time. And I hope that it fits because I've heard that sometimes it doesn't fit people how they would want to, so I'm just praying. Not really. Let's see. I have some more whips in here. I can't remember if I've shown this off yet. I think I have, but I think Hank actually needs to move. I'm having trouble getting around here. I'll just put him by the camera. So I might have shown off this little shawl before. I'm not sure yet. There it is. Very pretty and sparkly. But this is going to be called Mystic because some of the shapes of the lace I was inspired by the Mystics and the Dark Crystal because they've got a lot of circles going on their robes and stuff. And I just thought it was a good name. I like it. So this first sample, the numbers are actually off. And this is my design. The numbers are actually a little bit off, but I'm kind of too far along to really want to rip back. So this is going to be like my first draft, and I'm going to gift it to my mom when I'm done. And then after that, I'll make another sample for myself, and one that is like 100% correct with all the stitch counts and everything. And it'll be easier because this one's made with mohair, and the one I make next is not going to be made with mohair. So this is just like I said, it's a rough draft. But it's a very pretty rough draft, and I can't wait to be done with it and see my mom wear it. Which unfortunately, I don't think I will finish it in time for her to visit this weekend, but I mean, it's not going to weigh a lot even when it's done, so I can still mail it. So that's that. I finally started the Nightmare Before Christmas vest. There's not much going on right now, but I'm basically like making increases, and I should easily be able to finish this before October. I'm going to Disneyland sometime in October, and I'll keep that to myself just because I value privacy and don't like creepy people. But I'm going sometime in October, and so I'm making this spooky vest to wear there. And I know there's wool and acrylic in it, and like it might be hot, but if I'm just wearing that, then it'll be fine. Plus I run cold anyways. So that's that. There's not much to look at there, but I remembered to show off the book that I have now, and I'm just so excited. I think I'm gonna make this at some point, probably like for a dice bag or something. I mean, I'll probably end up making most things in this book at some point or another, but I'm not in any rush. I just want to make sure that I make the vest in time for my Disney trip, because, come on. I mean, if you're gonna go to Disney, you gotta be extra. Especially during spooky season. Like, I'm gonna be wearing my Nightmare Before Christmas dress. I've got a Haunted Mansion t-shirt. I'm gonna have this cute vest. I've got some other like spooky stuff like I've got on My Chemical Romance. Actually, I'm wearing it. Got on My Chemical Romance shirt I could wear depending on how many days we're there. So the last things I want to just kind of show off, because why not? I got this gorgeous yarn from Starlight Knitting Society. It's, once again, it's really hard to show the color. I think it looks a lot warmer in this light than it does in person, but you can kind of tell it's got just this really gorgeous peachy hue. And I kind of just bought this without a plan, so I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. Let's see how many yards I have. I remember it wasn't like a whole lot of yardage. Oh, 164 yards times 2 is, someone's probably going to get this before me, 164 times 2, 328 yards. I could probably, if I wanted to, make like a hat with mohair or something like that. I know there was like a cute brioche hat that had mohair or something like that I saw. So that's one option. I was also thinking that I could make like prawns, you know, like shrimp, and infuse them with mohair, and I think it'd be really cute. So we'll see. I love orange. Unlike, I think it was my friend Laura from the Kindful Knits podcast. I was just watching their last episode, and I think it was Laura who was saying that she hates orange. I love orange, so you can give me all of your orange yarn that you make forever. And maybe a couple, you can give a couple to Arminda, but you can give the rest to me. So just so you know. And then a few more acquisitions. So this, holy crap. Do you see this? It is gorgeous. This is also some Surrey. Forgot to mention, this is Surrey alpaca. This is also, what is this made from? Surrey alpaca and silk. This is going to be my Josephine vest, which I started a Josephine vest pattern by Jamie Creates, which I love that pattern. I've been wanting to make it for quite a while now, and I started it, but the yarn that I was using wasn't really working out. Like the pooling, I didn't really like how the pooling was working out with like the circumference of it, and the fabric wasn't really working for me. So I'm going to be using this because it originally calls for Surrey, and I have been, I mean, there's one particular, I think it's a tester photo that I'm just obsessed with that she shared before, and it just really sold me on like the fabric, and the yarn is just so soft. I'm a mohair fan. It can be a little bit scratchy, so I like the idea of having this for something that's a little bit more summery, something you can wear close to the skin if you want to. So yeah, that's what this is going to be, and this is by my friend Savannah. Come on. Come on. Are you going to focus? There we go. Yeah, that's her logo. It's so cute. By the way, I met her in person and she is so sweet. And so we went and got sushi, and we went to a few shops. We went to a few shops near that place, and then we went to Ritual Dyes, and then after that, after we parted ways, that's when I went to Starlight Knitting Society. And actually, let me just show you what I bought from one of the shops. Hold on just a second. Set on some yarn. Yeah. Do you see this? It's a resin, and it's got sparkles in it, and it's like opalescent and beautiful, and it's everything I've ever wanted in my whole life. So I bought it. And now it holds rocks and things on my dresser. Second related acquisition. So what she does when you order a custom dye order, which that Surrey silk was a custom dye order, it's like a minimum order quantity. So I got another one of the same colorway but a different base. And this is, what base is this? Annie sock. So I'm not quite sure yet what I'm going to make from this. I've really been on I feel like I'm just kind of obsessed with scarves and hats, but now I'm getting my way into socks, and so the indecision gets stronger and stronger. Who knows? We will see what this turns into. As soon as I figure it out, I'll think about it for probably several more months and then cast on, because I've got so many things in my queue that I feel bad for constantly putting things at the top and putting things that I was gonna make to the bottom, and that does not make very much sense. I got this as a gift from Laura Always Be Kind Yarn. There's her logo. I was actually going to buy some of this when she finished it. It's by Pride. Oh my god. Focus! There it is. By Pride. It is merino nylon, so sock yarn, and it is self-striping. So I think I'm going to make myself a really cute pair of socks with this, because I've actually never used self-striping for socks before. So I think that'd be really fun. But I was going to say, I was going to buy some, because I asked her about if she had any, and I knew that she had some that was kind of old, but she said she was making new ones for the bicolors. And I was like, sweet, I'll buy some. And then she comes in, last time I met Sit and Stitch with like a bag, and there's this yarn in it, and Dang it, Laura, you got me again. I'm really excited to use it, so thank you a lot. Not sponsored, just gifted from a friend. So that's all I can really think of. I mean, I just had I finished a lot of things, I started some things, I got some things. That's kind of how it goes. Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty prepared for summer knits. I mean, I feel like the mini mock neck tank is going to be worn a lot this summer. And I sometimes still wear sweaters in the summer, so I'll probably still be wearing my candy sweater and planning for my next sweaters, which I still want to design this one sweater that's been on my mind for a really long time now. Like, well, a relatively long time, like a year, 2 years, something like that. It's coming, I promise, ? I don't know when, because designing's really hard, but I also really enjoy it. I think the hardest part is just making the sample. The writing part is not hard for me, and getting it all detailed and looking good and the numbers matching up, those are... Sorry, my camera likes to just stop when it doesn't feel like it anymore. So yeah, the hardest part for me is knitting this sample, because I feel like the sample is like making sure that the pattern works, and sometimes I run into things while I'm sample knitting that I'm like, oh man, I need to really rethink this part, so making the sample is really, really important, but sometimes I run into problems, like with the shawl I'm working on, the numbers keep being off and I keep like messing up my counts, and so I think I really fixed it this time in my my pattern draft, but I didn't want to work back with the sample, so I'm like, okay, I'm making another one. But I think in here I have another whip. Did I even put it in here? Hold on a second. So I've got another one. I don't know if I've shown it off yet. I don't remember anything ever. But I'm making this hat where it's going to be cables around the brim this way. And so I've kind of worked it out how I'm going to do the cables around, and then pick up stitches around do the brim, bind off, sew it together, and then pick up stitches around the top and make it like a slouchy hat with a tassel on top, and it's going to be really cool. But I'm finding that my brim is curling and I don't want that. So I think what I'm going to do here is do the same thing, but I'm going to add like a garter ridge right here, like a vertical garter ridge. It'll still have some elasticity, like it's already kind of stretchy, but it will hopefully make it so that this edge doesn't curl, so you don't have to block it super aggressively or just deal with a curly brim, which would not be nice. But yeah, this is going to be my Westfold cap, which I can't remember. Again, I can't remember if I mentioned it already. Roughly kind of vibe, inspired by the vibe of like Rohan. So that's why it's called the Westfold cap, because if you're not familiar, the regions of Rohan, there's like Westfold, Eastfold, whatever. And this yarn, before I forget this yarn, this is Malabrigo Rios, I believe. Do not remember the colorway right now. All things in due time. Everything goes on my Ravelry, literally everything. On behalf of Hank, the chicken, he is very sleepy tonight. So I'm going to say goodnight for now. It's like 10 p.m. He needs to go to bed. So good night, everybody, and happy knitting. See you next time.